I'm Casey Robin. I'm an illustrator and designer. I live in LA and I've done work on books, toys. I work with Disney storybooks, doing some of their princess storybooks. It's always fun. And I have a lot of projects of my own. I'm freelance. And yeah, that's kind of my main thing is I draw. And I'm really glad to have you in my studio today. I'm going to take you through how I start a picture from like my reference through my thought process and starting with painting and drawing. I'm starting a new picture today for a new series called Coral Reef. That's a mermaid series. So the whole thing will be themed around the color coral. And then I've picked a few accent colors that I think pair well with that, like a chocolate brown and a deep umber and like a Titan buff. And it's going to be really pretty. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking to work on when we talk today. So now I'm going to start finding the curves. And the jellyfish has all this lovely lacy stuff. So that I think is going to be a recurring element in here. I think she's going to come in front of it and then it's going to go behind her. And I'll find some pretty things to do with the background. But I think I've got a sense of how her head is tilting. And I'm not copying the reference so much as I'm using it as a jumping off point. So now I'm thinking about the tilt of the head, where her eyes go. And I want to like caricature some. So I want to not get too caught up in the little details, but choose bigger shapes. Well, I'm hoping that when I like paint all of this, I'll be able to rework the face because it's a little too something and I can't figure out what. But if it makes you guys feel any better, I, as a professional artist who've done this for years and years, am always nervous when I come to the faces, you know, and I'm always like, that's not what I meant to do. That kind of doesn't go away. You just learn to manage it and work past it. So sometimes when I get stuck on the face, I just go to something else. And then I come back when I feel like I know what I want to say. I'm also keeping in mind that the model is on dry land and I'm allowed to take some more liberties underwater. So I'm trying to find like that beautiful rhythm. Got kind of a flamenco feel. I like that. I'm giving her a little like head fan decoration, by the way. I need to let go of this face. I'm just killing this. All right, so I'm going to take some of this deco from the jellyfish and incorporate it into her tail. So I think some big red spots here could be really pretty. What I'm doing right now is just knocking back my drawing. So this kind of softens it and gives me a chance to reestablish it with the brush. So thinking of colors, I think red's going to play a key role, but it's not going to be the most prominent color. I think the most prominent color will be this kind of peachy coral. So I'm going to start mixing my color and then we'll just see how far we get. This is a silver ruby satin bright. It's number 10. It's about that big and you can draw with the edge of this guy. So it's a very, very versatile brush. Let me put together my palette. I've got cadmium red, medium hue. I've got Naples yellow, and I might pull in a little bit of like a yellow ochre. Titanium white will give me a base for creating like an opaque color. And then burnt umber light should be helpful with the skin. Raw sienna, I might mix that in there too. And raw umber, I think I might pull in a little Titan buff, but I think that's kind of it. It's a very warm palette. I'm not going to use any cool tones at all. Like my cooler browns will be my cool tones. Maybe I'll change my mind halfway through, but this is what I'm thinking for now. Since I want to take another crack at the face, is I think I'll paint her skin like one solid color and kind of paint over the face to where I can just barely see my underdrawing. And then I'll try it again. So now I'm just kind of going in with my brush and like finding fun shapes and playing around and establishing patterns. This is very much an improvised picture, but I'm having fun with it. And I hope it's fun to watch. And I'm having a lot of fun finding these jellyfish shapes. I'm trying to feel the rhythm that I already established in my gestural sketches and just find interesting shapes to break up the big white shape of the jellyfish. So I might come back to it and be like, oh, look, I could do some more little tendril things. But I don't want to get all into this nitty gritty because that's not the point. The point was to get me to this point. And then I think what I'll do is I'll come back in with some white and like reestablish some of this stuff behind her I chose to let that fall away in favor of finding this negative shape here. Right now, it's pretty much a monochromatic painting, but I will be bringing in the deeper skin tone, and that will really help anchor things. I like to think in washes and allow myself to start simply, thinking of only one color first. I invent a lot as I'm working. I have a general idea, but then I give myself lots of room to play, because I find that a lot more fun. I used to very meticulously paint out color studies and like do 12 extra steps before I allowed myself to start my picture. But at a certain point, I found that that was keeping me away from my art and making me scared and getting in the way more than it was helping. So I took out a few steps. I used to draw on tracing paper first and then transfer to the board. And I should probably do that sometimes. Like this one, I definitely kind of made a bunch of mistakes and figured it out as I went. But I kind of like the thrill of improvising. I've decided that these little things, I'm gonna go with like Dot here and have them like follow her anatomy. All right, guys, so I think that's it, right? So thank you so much for joining me for this first session. I'm gonna keep playing around with this. Thank you guys for being here. I think that you all have something important to say, and I'm glad you're here, and I thank you for your questions. I know that it can be scary to put yourself out there. I mean, I was scared to put myself out there for this, so I commend you guys for putting in the work and doing the hard and frightening work of being an artist, but it's so, so worth it.